Our next guest joining us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline is running for the U.S. Senate. His name is David Hann, former Minnesota State Senator and former chairman of the Minnesota Republican Party, now a candidate for the U.S. Senate. And David Hann joins me again on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Good morning to you, David, and happy holidays.
Thank you. Glad to be with you. Thanks for having me.
I know it's going to be a very hectic and frantic 2026. It is the midterm elections, obviously, as there always is. In an election year, a lot at stake. Why did you decide to enter the race for U.S. Senate? There are not, in fact, I think you're the only candidate in the race who has experience in elected office. Did you see a field of candidates there that you thought was lacking in experience?
Well, we do need to, as Republicans, we need to win this race. And part of what motivated me was just the concern that I have about the direction that our state has been taking this last decade or so, with a dominant Democratic Party governing. And the kinds of things that have been exposed are very troubling. And it tells me that we need to have a change. The Democrat Party in Minnesota has become, I believe, captured by a very extreme ideology. They have become more and more enamored of their democratic socialist element of their party. And they have led the state in a direction that I think has not been productive, not been helpful to our citizens. So I've spent a number of years in public service in various ways, and this was something that I felt I needed to do.
Now, Minnesota has not elected a Republican to the U.S. Senate since 2002. Norm Coleman, the last time that he won, and then he lost that very close re-election bid to Al Franken in that historic recount. Why has Minnesota not elected a Republican senator since 2002 or a Republican statewide candidate of any kind since 2006? The losing streak now going on 20 years. Do you have an explanation for that?
Well, things have changed over time, and what I believe is that the state has become more evenly divided politically. We used to be known as a more of a Democrat-leaning state. I don't believe that is as true today as it was maybe 10 or 15 years ago. We've got 8 congressional seats, 4 held by Republicans, 4 held by Democrats. The second district is very competitive, currently held by a Democrat, but even the state legislature in the last decade has become very closely divided politically, and it tells me that the people of the state are not as sure that the Democrat Party really represents the interests that they are interested in. So I think that it has become more competitive, and I think that's one of the reasons why this next year will be an opportunity for Republicans to make some gains statewide.
And let's talk about the elephant in the room, and not the Republican elephant, but the elephant in general, which is fraud. I know there's a lot of angst and frustration and anger, much of it directed at Governor Tim Walz. But if the fraud is as big as some federal prosecutors are saying it is, shouldn't the federal government have been raising some red flags long before this? If there was maybe, and we don't have any evidence of this yet, $9 billion in fraud, shouldn't someone at Medicare and Medicaid services been going, where is all of this money going?
Well, yes, I think you're right. I think a lot of the money that was stolen here in Minnesota was money provided by the federal government for various programs, and it seems to me that the federal government has not done a good enough job of making sure that money is spent for the things that it is appropriated for, and certainly not happened in Minnesota. I think it's a huge failing when you elect people to be a governor and say your job is to enforce the law, and here's money that has been provided by law. Make sure it gets spent to feed hungry children, and you don't do it. That's a huge failure, and I think that that falls directly on the Walz-Flanagan administration, but I think at the federal level, because so much of that money does come from federal programs, you need to have stronger oversight. and I think really a hard look at the programs that are providing all this money, not just to Minnesota, but around the country. It's one of the things that I want to work on in Washington should I be successful in becoming the senator.
Last couple of things for you. Health insurance, going to be a big concern for a lot of Minnesotans, tens of thousands potentially who are going to lose the health insurance subsidies that started during the COVID pandemic, and they are no longer going to be there under the Affordable Care Act. I know you told me recently you support ending those, but what would you do to replace that? This is going to have a real-world impact on, again, tens of thousands of Minnesotans.
Well, you're right. This is a temporary fix for to deal with the pandemic. We've gotten past the pandemic, so it's appropriate that should expire, but it doesn't solve the problem. And the fundamental problem really is the structure of the so-called Affordable Care Act, which has not made insurance more affordable, has not led to more choices and better options for patients. And that's something that needs to change. I believe that you need to have a stronger market component in healthcare. It can't just be a government-funded program. It's got to have a market dynamic to it, and I think the laws need to be looked at to see if we can bring greater choices to consumers in healthcare and health insurance. That's the direction I think we need to take.
And final thing, I know you're going to seek President Trump's endorsement. All Republicans would like his endorsement. But are you concerned? His approval rating around 42% in Minnesota, upper 30s to around 40% nationally. Is he going to help or hurt Republicans running for election or re-election in 26?
I think all presidents in their running up to their midterm election cycle see a dip in their performance rating as people's expectations during election maybe are not fully met. I think the president has done a good job of focusing on the things that people voted for when they elected him. I think the immigration issue, making sure the borders are secure, is a big thing, and I think there's been progress on that, stopping the flow of fentanyl. I think the economy, he's done some things to try to spur economic growth. I think the Biden economy was just terrible, and we've been suffering from it. So I don't think that the temporary blip in approval ratings is something to be overly concerned with, but I do think that the president has done some things that have been very helpful to the state, and I think that will help all Republican candidates in the next election.
Okay, he is David Hann, running for U.S. Senate as a Republican. David, happy holidays to you and your family, and we will talk to you soon, and best of luck to you in 2026.
Thank you, and same to you, Tom.
All right, David Hann.